right, we're here. Good. Hey, Divas, how are you?
Hello, hello.
Hello, doing good. How are you?
Good. So, we wanted to talk a little bit about Saturday night's show, and we've received some good and some bad feedback, and so we just kind of wanted to address a few things. But before we get started, the three divas, Angie, Angela, and Brooke, and I, worked on together. Yeah, we're back together. But we worked, yeah, oh yeah, we're back together because Saturday we were missing our
I
second amigo.
I
know. We
know,
were. We miss her so
exactly.
much.
So we worked on a statement this morning, and Angela Clark was the mastermind behind it, and so we're going to give the show to her for right now.
All right. So on Saturday night's Divas show, we had a guest come on and talk about harassment, her experiences and personal beliefs that came across on that show were very harsh towards men. Trucker Safety Divas want to make sure that our viewers and our listeners understand that this is one guest's opinion, their personal experience, and their story. We do not believe that all men are out here trying to harass female drivers. We do not believe that a woman's choice of clothing should make someone harass her for it. We do believe that there is harassment in driving school on the road, and it is an issue for both women and men. Harassment comes in all forms: sexual, verbal, coercion, hostile work environment, and so much more. This affects all of us. Susan Couch had a very emotional experience. I think we can all agree on that. Some of our viewers felt that she came across as angry. This is a sensitive topic, and it's one that we need to continue to talk about. For those who understood where she was coming from, thank you. And please, let's continue to talk about harassment until it no longer exists. For those who did not and felt that she was bashing all men, please take a moment to show grace to her and know that we all have different experiences. Moving forward, Trucker Safety Divas will set guidelines for future guests and topics. All guests will be asked not to name companies or people that are not available to comment, recorded or live. The stories and experiences that are shared on our show are not diminished without a name or company being attached.
So like I said at the beginning of the show, we received some positive and some negative feedback, and so we wanted to address just a couple things. As mentioned in the statement, there was a point in the show where Susan, I think, out of frustration, probably from not getting um, the results that she should have gotten in regards to her case, did mention her former company that she worked at and the person that attacked her. Um, we wanted to just kind of we didn't know that was going to be said during the show. I don't think she even knew she was going to say that during the show.
Right.
I think it came in a point of frustration, and I just think that she's had a very emotional journey, and I think that that was one of the things we got a lot of feedback on. We don't agree with that. It never should have been mentioned, and for those who are involved, we personally apologize for that. It should not have been brought up, especially on our show. But at the same token, I do believe that it was said out of frustration. I don't think she meant it to, you know, put the company down or the person down. She was just frustrated at her personal circumstances.
Right.
Is that pretty much how you guys got it too?
Yeah, and I don't
Yes.
think she was intending to like defame anybody's character. I
No.
think she was strictly speaking from emotion and the experiences that she's had. So I'm really grateful that we are addressing the, negative feedback that we have received, just to clear the air for everybody. Um,
Correct.
and, encourage our viewers to have grace for her in
Yes.
that situation. She was put under a microscope kind of on live TV to talk about her
Correct.
experience. And a lot of times, I don't know about you guys, but I can't control the shit that comes out of my mouth. I mean,
Yep.
you know what I mean? And so I just want to throw that out there that I'm grateful that we all have grace for her and empathy for her, but we definitely have to set the record straight.
Yeah.
Correct.
And
I
then
agree.
the other thing I wanted to mention is, I can relate to Susan on a lot of levels.
Yeah.
I have had harassment in the trucking industry. I've been pretty open about that. And I'm also an abuse survivor like she is. And so I understand, but I think a lot of the men who saw the episode took it as a personal attack on men.
They did.
And it was. And from her aspect, I think she's so raw and in the emotion and in the pain that I think only a person who has walked through her shoes or been through abuse or been raped, like I have, and I know other people have on our show, can understand where she was coming from. So to our men,
I agree.
we want to stress that we don't think all of our truck drivers or people at rest areas or truck stops are out to get us or
No.
are out to do bad things. We don't think that in any shape or form. And if that's the impression that you got, we apologize. And I don't think that's what Susan meant either. I think
No, I
Susan
don't think
is
so either.
just, yeah, I think she was talking from a place of pain and hurt and honestly frustration because
For
she
sure.
didn't get what she wanted out of this. She should have gotten some justice, and that was not the case.
Right.
So,
For a second,
mhm,
just for a male's point of view,
mhm.
I know for a fact.
Hold on, Larry wanted to say something from a male point of view, so I'm going to turn. Are you
I know
on there?
for a fact that me, Johnny, and Pat, just us three, I know for a fact that if it was coming to a time where we saw something like that, we would absolutely jump in and kick that dude's ass and protect the
For
woman.
sure. For
And
sure.
there's a lot of men out there that will do the exact same thing that we would do.
Yes.
That's just
Thank
coming
you
from
for
a
that
man's
input
point of
because
view.
that is very accurate.
Yeah, and I know that we received a lot of negative feedback from our mail. Some of them said they wanted to throw their phones, and I get it. I understand it. I mean, it was frustrating. I think on every aspect. Susan was talking from a place of passion, and I couldn't get a lot of words in, and I understand it. You guys understand it. We get it. But
Yeah.
I think we were trying to say, unless you've been in Susan's shoes and understand the pain and frustration that she's been through, it's kind of hard to understand, her anger. And so I understand that. I
Right.
think we all do.
Right.
Yeah.
So
The other point too to make is, when we step back and think about what she has been through, as viewers, as humans, we need to think hard about throwing daggers her way. You know what
yes,
I'm saying? She's
yes,
been through
yes,
so
yes,
much already that, we need to think, if we were in that situation, would we be bitter? Would we
yep,
have a chip on our shoulder? Would we be frustrated? And
yep,
so I'm so grateful. There's so many. We got a few negative comments for sure, but we definitely got a lot of really good feedback
yes,
too, and
yes,
women and men who were empathetic and grateful that we brought the topic up. It may have been a little
Yeah.
like, oh shit, at times, but I think the topic needed to be talked about,
yeah.
and
And
I'm
I think,
so
I
grateful
agree.
that she was brave enough to save it. To save that, save that experience on live TV.
and that's the other thing I was going to say. I think it's a taboo subject that's not talked about
Yeah.
enough in the trucking industry. Most bigwig trucking companies would like to throw that subject underneath the bus and not even discuss it, even though they say they're implementing new things to combat it. But I think it's something that not only affects men, but it affects women. Or I'm sorry,
Hmm.
other way around. It affects women
Yeah.
and men. And I think men
Yeah.
don't get enough talk about it, because I know
Hmm.
for a fact I can think of several off the top of my head that have been affected, whether it be sexual harassment or just harassment in general.
Hmm.
So I definitely think it has to be a part two that we talk about,
I
because it's
agree.
an important subject, and a lot of people have reached out to us and said, hey, I wish I had been on that show. Well, contact us. We want you on this show. We want your
Yeah.
point of view. So
Well, and another
Definitely.
topic too that Angela Clark brought up when she wasn't able to be on the show, she messaged us and she said men get harassed too.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And so we need to make sure we're covering that side of that coin as well.
absolutely, absolutely.
Correct. Correct. I think Susan has a great platform to talk about her experiences.
Yes,
I definitely think that she's got to take the emotion out to make a difference, because people are, they think that she's angry and bashing men, and that's not, that takes away from the topic. So
yes,
I really, really, really hope that, we don't know what kind of feedback she may have gotten personally.
right.
Right.
She,
Right.
she was
Right.
brave enough to put herself out there, put herself in the line of
Absolutely.
fire. And I really, really hope that, that she's getting some good feedback and that she can use that to continue to talk about it, because it's obviously a problem. She's not the only
Yes.
person We know that
Not
from
at
our
all.
show. We know that from the feedback that we've got. We know from our experiences. So it's
Right.
definitely something that's to have a part 2 and a part 3 and a part 50. It will
Right.
continue to be talked about. And I really, really hope that we can, get through it, because this is an emotional topic.
Yeah.
I agree.
The other thing that we wanted to kind of touch on, and again, this was something Susan, again, I think she said out of frustration, but it's something that we did mention in our statement, was she did make a comment of something along the lines of when women dress provocatively, that they kind of invite this kind of unwanted harassment. And I don't think she meant it the way it came across or the way that she said it. And so we kind of want to set the record straight. It doesn't matter if you're naked running around a truck stop or you're fully dressed. Unwanted harassment is unwanted harassment, period.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter how you dress or what you look like. That should make zero difference at all. Sexual harassment or any type of harassment should never be tolerated. And I don't care if you're naked walking around the truck stop. It doesn't mean that you're given an invitation for a man to come up to you or a woman and give you unwanted sexual advances. So
or touch your body in any form, invade your space, invade your bubble. Right.
Yes, it's happened. It's happened to me. I don't know if it's happened to you guys, but it's happened to me. And there's nothing more frustrating than when you are tired after a 10-hour shift, standing in a truck stop and having a guy try to grab your butt or your boob, which I've had both. 99% of the men are so respectful out here, and they have our backs. They truly, truly, truly do. It's a small percentage. They're just, there's no other nice way to say it, but they're assholes.
Right. And I think there's, no way to say it other than it is a small percentage. They are out there, and they're in every industry. It's not, whenever you have men and women working together, you have that potential. And so it's in every industry. It's not just in the trucking industry, but because the trucking industry is a man's dominated industry for the most part, it seems like it may get a different limelight, I guess, maybe.
And we have a comment here. Hold on, wrong one.
There's a bunch of really good ones that have been coming on, I noticed.
I said, Christopher said there's a very limited resources for drivers who are going through emotional problem, and that's another show topic. And that's so true, and especially for anybody who's gone through any type of harassment, it just doesn't seem to be a lot of help for especially truck drivers out there, because I almost feel like it's something they don't want to talk about, something they want to dust underneath the rug. Well, it needs to be talked about. It's a problem in our industry. And if we can shed a light on it, and another great organization that does amazing work is Real Women in Trucking and Desiree Wood. That woman has done more to help us with sexual harassment in the industry than any other organization that I know of. And they're another great resource that you guys should go to if you need that.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to make sure we didn't. I know there's a ton of good comments. Let's see. Nana Cheryl says you were all great at the same time, keeping it real, saying what's on your mind, but keeping your minds open. Thank you, ladies.
Oh, thank you very much for that, Nana.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, because I think that's an important thing. You have to keep your mind open, because everybody's going to have different comments and different thoughts at the end of our taping, at the end of our shows. That's what I love about our show is we're all three different. We all three have different opinions, different thought processes. We're very similar in a lot of aspects, but we're also very different, which I think what brings a great dynamic to this group is that, we can be open and honest, but we all have different perspectives and different viewpoints. So
absolutely.
Definitely, I agree with that.
Here, this is Terry, aka Granny. She said, after 2 years of a Chicago local driver harassing me really bad, I called the company owner. The owner told me that if I can't handle it, I should just get back to the kitchen where I belonged. And that was coming from the owner.
Goodness gracious. I pity the fool that ever says that to me. I'm just going to say, oh my God.
And to Terry, of all people, I'm surprised
right, no
shit. To
jail. Wow. Yeah.
And here's another good one. She said, you can learn to use that emotion to make a difference. But if she takes it out, she will no longer come across as genuine.
And I was thinking that too. I was thinking her emotion is her real feeling, and that's what makes the situation real. So I don't know that taking the emotion out, but maybe harnessing it and learning how to put it out there.
And I want to state for the record too, we want to help Susan and Big Rig's
Absolutely.
sisterhood, because we would
Definitely.
love to help them do whatever we can to make a difference with sexual harassment in the industry. But I do agree when it comes to something so sensitive as sexual harassment, and we have to kind of take our emotions not all the way out of it, but some way out of it, so you can temper the frustration and anger, I guess. I get that way too. You guys know for a fact.
I
I
do
talk
too.
from my
Yeah.
heart. Yeah, I talk from my heart, and I'm very emotional.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to learn, I have to tone that back. And I think that's what everybody took wrong on Saturday night, was that she was very emotional. She was very, upset and frustrated, rightfully so.
Right.
And a lot of people took it the wrong way. And so we wanted to set the record straight, because I don't want her getting negative lashback when she was just being brutally honest and sharing her story.
Yeah.
And that was the last thing we wanted, is for anybody to get negative feedback from that.
Definitely.
Patrick Burke said there's always two sides to every story, and somewhere in the middle there is the truth. Gary said, just be careful, ladies, for liability issues. Angie, you having issues, and I could see you was trying to step in but couldn't. Yeah,
Right.
it was hard. It was very hard for me to try to cut in on Saturday night, because I don't want to be rude. The last thing I want to do is be rude. But I think she was, again, talking from emotion, and
Right.
it was hard to get a word in edgewise. But
Well,
going
and plus
forward,
with the audio issues, it was hard to know because, yeah,
yes.
right. It was a tough situation all the way around.
So going forward, we are going to have a set of standards for our guests, and maybe to also keep our guests better informed on what we expect and how the show is going to proceed, which I think we
Yeah.
probably should have done from the beginning, because I know when our guests come on, they always have questions like, what are you going to ask me? So that's why I always try to prepare our guests with, here's a list of questions I'm going to ask you. And I didn't give a chance to do that on Susan on Saturday. So that was the other. Matter of fact, I didn't ask a single question to her. So that's why I want to have a part two. I have a notebook of questions for her.
Right. Right.
Is there any other? I think we handled, or we touched on base on all the topics. Was there anything else you girls wanted to touch on?
Yeah, no, I think we covered it. I think that's what we needed to put out there, and I think we're good.
I think so too.
My only thought to add to that is, along with us supporting Susan and her endeavors and wanting to just open the topic up for discussion, I want anybody else who watched that show Saturday night, if anybody ever needs to talk, wants to reach out to us individually, they're welcome to. We created Trucking Safety Divas and Trucker Safety Divas for women to feel empowered and feel like they have a voice on every topic. So if there was anybody that, didn't get an opportunity to speak and would like to either get on our show or just have referrals to resources to help them with whatever struggle they're dealing with, they can reach us.
And the other thing I would like to add to that is, we want it to be a safe environment in our group where you can feel free to ask any questions without being ridiculed or put down or not
Judged.
felt safe or judged. The other thing I would like to ask, that if anybody has been through sexual harassment and would like to talk to us about it, but doesn't want to go on the air, that's fine. If you want to talk to us and allow us to share your story, we could do that as well.
Anonymously, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Larry was. And also, I do want to mention, we do have our Truckers Mental Health group. So if anybody feels that they're going through a hard time or having any issues, there's always that group for you to reach out. Again, the same thing in there. I don't tolerate any judgment in there. You could feel free to ask anything, and we're there to help you. That's the whole reason we set these up, because we understand we've been in your shoes. And we want a safe place for our drivers and drivers' family members to go to be able to vent and talk freely without being afraid of being judged. And so,
I agree.
Oh, sorry. Patrick brought up a very good point. Not just women, but men also can be victims and can reach out to us too. Please.
Yes, absolutely.
Please.
And the guys have very similar opinions about these topics, and they will probably address that on their show as well. But they are also a safe haven for anybody.
Yes. Johnny, Pat, and Larry are zero judgmental, just like the three of us ladies. If you guys ever want to reach out to them with a topic idea, or if you would like to be on their show, or if you've been through sexual harassment or harassment in general and you'd like to touch out to them, please feel free to reach out to the three guys, because I know this is a topic they're probably going to discuss in a future show as well. And they're the same as us, zero judgment. We're here for you guys. That's the whole reason we made this show. We want it to be educational, yes, but also we wanted to touch your guys' lives. And we don't want people to be upset, I guess what I'm saying, at the way Susan responded on Saturday. We want you guys to have empathy and understand where she was coming from. She was coming from a place of, love and support. It just didn't come across that way. And so we want everybody to please, be kind to her, support her, because I think it's a great program that she's trying to get started, and we want to help in any possible way that we can going down the road with her. So, all right. One more thing. You guys are all doing a great job. Thank you, Gary. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm not 100% sure on what our show is going to be on Saturday night. We have 3 topics that we're working on. It just depends on our guest speakers that we're trying to get a hold of. But tune in Saturday night, 7 p.m. for our show. But more importantly, tune in Friday night at 7 p.m. for the guys' show, A Trucker's View.
Woo-hoo!
If you guys haven't followed them yet, please go to Facebook and look up A Trucker's View. And last but not least, don't forget to go to Trucking Life. That is our new platform where we do live streaming. As soon as Angela Clark gets back on the road, she'll be joining us too. And we have a few new drivers that we're getting ready to add onto the show in the next few weeks. So we truly appreciate everybody's love and support and kindness. Just be safe out there, everybody. We love y'all.
Love you guys.
Yep. Love
Bye,
you guys.
everybody.